I'm Darryn Farrugia and welcome. In last week's video, I demonstrated a hand pattern, which is basically an inverted 6-stroke roll. So just as a refresher, the sticking pattern that we played last week was right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. And it's 2 lots of triplets. 1 and 2 and right, right, left, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. In this lesson, I want to expand on that idea. We're going to add a few things to this. So the first thing we're going to do to this pattern is we're going to add a beat to it. We're going to turn it from a 2/4 pattern to a 3/4 pattern. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to add a triplet to the front of this pattern. And that triplet is going to be right, left, left. So now our 3 beats, we have right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left, left. So I'm going to play that on the hi-hat for you so that you could see the sticking and so that you could hear the pattern in 3/4. I'm going to give you a bar of 3/4. 1 and 2 and 3 and I'm going to orchestrate that between the ride cymbal and the snare drum, and I'm going to lose one of the right hand accents. You'll hear what I'm talking about. So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and and I'm going to add some bass drum to the right hand strokes. So I'm going to play the bass drum on the first note. And I'm also going to add bass drum to the right hand double. 1 and 2 and 3 and Let me just take that up in tempo. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A concept that I really use a lot, I get a lot of mileage out of in terms of improvising and vocabulary, is always to have a 3/4 and 2/4 version of the same idea. Lots of drummers do this. There are countless possibilities and licks and patterns that you can do this with. And so now I have the 2/4 version, which was the original version that I played in last week's video. By the way, I'll leave a link to that below. And now I've got this new version in 3/4. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to randomly play between these 2 patterns just to get comfortable with transitioning between the 2/4 and 3/4 versions of this idea. And I'm going to count this in 4/4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's important to get the hang of just transitioning between those 2 patterns randomly and thinking in 4/4. Once you learn the pattern in 3/4 and it becomes a comfortable pattern to play, I would suggest that you start to play it across 2 bars of 4/4, then 4 bars of 4/4, etc. to the point where you don't have to think about it, but you always know where beat 1 is in a bar of 4/4. Now, the other thing I want to do is add another pattern to this, and this is the next variation of this. It's not really a variation, we're just adding a rudiment to this that we already know how to play. The rudiment that I'm talking about is the double stroke roll, except that we're going to play the double stroke roll over triplets instead of semiquavers or 16th notes. So I'm going to count a bar of 4/4 as triplets. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and Now let me split that between the ride cymbal and snare drum. So my right hand's going to go to the ride cymbal, my left hand's going to stay on the snare drum. and I'll add the doubles on the bass drum as well. So we'll have this 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and So that's the other pattern that you heard me play at the start of this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the original idea in 2/4. I'm going to play that for a bar of 4/4. Then I'm going to follow that up with a bar of double stroke rolls between the right cymbal and snare drum. You'll hear what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then once that feels comfortable, you can then expand that to 2 bars of each pattern, so it becomes a 4-bar cycle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if you like, you can start to orchestrate the left hand, so you can move the left hand around the drum set too. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So then the next step is to just improvise putting all 3 of these patterns together. So we've got our original version in 2/4, we've got the new version that's in 3/4, plus we're adding that double stroke roll. So let me just mess around with this. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So one of the things I suggest that you do is pretty much what I did today, and that is just taking an idea and expanding it, just figuring out ways that you can add to it just to expand your vocabulary, and then improvise with it. What we're trying to do is develop vocabulary that we can use in solos and whenever we get the chance to improvise, or whenever we get the chance to interact with other people who are improvising from the standpoint of being an accompanist. So a great recorded example of this, and some of this stuff that you're hearing today, is the track called Humpty Dumpty by Chick Corea, and the drummer on that is Steve Gadd. If you've heard me talk about Steve Gadd a lot, you may know he's one of my favorite drummers. So I suggest that you check that track out. So it's Humpty Dumpty, and it's from the album The Mad Hatter. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week with another variation on this pattern. So until then, happy practice, and remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you all soon. Bye. So the first thing we're going to do with this particular, I just spat.